Well, a very good evening and a warm welcome here from the English Institute of Sport in Sheffield for the World Boxing Cup, where this morning we had some fantastic high quality action, and we expect more of the same this evening. 7 contests for this evening bout, and lots of home interest involved as well. England fighters coming up. We don't have any Welsh or Scottish fighters on this evening, but in terms of representing England, we've got Tyers, Patrice, Mugale, Huey, Malone and Lewis Richardson. Lewis, of course, was alongside us for commentary yesterday. We'll have Patrick Brown with us today. We'll introduce him in just a moment. Elite national champion, and he will be looking forward to getting involved with the action, starting his campaign in this World Boxing Cup from tomorrow. We're here at the World Boxing Cup in Sheffield in association with GB Boxing, England Boxing and of course World Boxing. Really, really important. Plenty on the line for these fighters. Not just national pride in representing their countries, but they will want to stake their claim and convince their coaches to select them for the upcoming next opportunity to go to the Olympic qualifying tournament. So lots on the line for these fighters as they pursue their dreams and chase their dreams of becoming an Olympian. There are of course some fighters here who have already qualified for the Olympics. They will be seeing this as the perfect way to get ready to peak at just the right time for what will be the pinnacle of their boxing career in the Olympic style of the sport. Let's go to our MC now, Craig Denholm.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the English Institute of Sport, Sheffield. My name is Craig Denham and I'm the Master of Ceremonies for this session of the GB Open World Boxing Cup. The event is brought to you by GB Boxing, UK Sport, the National Lottery, Sheffield City Council, England Boxing and Sting. Our competing nations are the Czech Republic, Denmark, England, Finland, Germany, Mongolia, the Netherlands, Nigeria, Norway, Panama, Scotland, Sweden, Wales, French Polynesia and the refugee boxing team. So ladies and gentlemen, the officials are ready. The boxers are ready. It's time to make some noise. It's time to start boxing. So ladies and gentlemen, introducing your boxers to the ring. And firstly introducing your red corner, representing the Czech Republic, give it up for Eric Sui.
So here we go then. We've had an incredible morning of action and lots to live up to for the evening session, but no doubt it will do because we've got some top quality talent on display. Getting underway with our opening bout of the evening session here at the English Institute of Sport. The man from the Czech Republic in the red corner, making his way to the ring. This men's light welterweight category, 63.5 kilos. We've got 3 contests at this weight category. Following that, there'll be 4 in the light middleweight 71 kilogram category.
And ladies and gentlemen, introducing your blue corner to the ring, representing England, give it up for Tyers.
So in the opening bout of this evening session, huge home support for Tyers, the man from Darlington, making his way to the ring, wearing blue, 4 times national champion, represented England at the Commonwealth Games, got to the quarter-final stages, boxes out of Billingham Boxing Academy. In a recent interview, he talked about the pressure that is on all of these elite fighters to qualify. Talked about how becoming an Olympian can change your life. He does have the aim and ambition to turn pro. Comes from a boxing family, brothers who all box. His brother, Jimmy, actually had the pleasure of commentating on his professional debut in Sheffield last year. So very much part of the family as he gets ready to put on a display in front of the home crowd.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is bout number 23, which is a light welterweight contest scheduled for 3 rounds of 3 minutes. And introducing your boxers. Firstly, boxing out of the red corner, wearing the all red with white trim, and representing the Czech Republic, give it up for Eric Sui. And across the ring, his opponent, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the all blue with white trim, and representing England, give it up for Joe Tyers. Your referee at the bell, representing Germany, Ms. Susan Kopka.
Well, alongside me for commentary this evening, we've got Patrick Brown, 2 times elite national champion from my neck of the woods, I'm glad to say, a fellow Mancunian. So you're in good hands here today. His boxes out of Moss Side Fire Station with, of course, Nigel Travis. We'll talk a little bit more about how you're doing and how things are ahead of your opening bout tomorrow, Pat, but let's get this one underway. And you're expecting a pretty interesting contest here.
Yeah, definitely, Stacey. It's nice to talk by yourself from Manchester, and this contest tonight is it's an important one for Joe, and if he sticks to the game plan, I believe he should get through it.
He talked in an interview recently in the build-up to this competition, saying about he does feel the pressure all of the time, as all the boxers will, because it's that, you know, you're chasing that one dream for a minimum of 4 years in most cases, aren't you? And everything rides on opportunities like this, because even getting selected to go to the qualifying tournament is difficult when you're in a very competitive nation such as GB. Do you feel that pressure?
Definitely, for sure, especially when you're on top of your game and you're the one to get off the top shelf. Everyone's coming for you, so you do feel that extra pressure. And I know Joey is at the top, and at the moment he's looking sharp, and if he keeps it up, he's going to be doing well.
Made a good start here, but is in with a
he keeps
a
getting
very capable opponent in Eric Sui, man from the Czech Republic in red. Joe Tyers, of course, the Englishman in blue.
Like to see Joe speed his footwork in and out, because when he does, he gets success.
The next opportunity for boxers to qualify will be next month in Italy, so in many cases this is their chance to send a message to the coaches to ensure that their name is on the roster for that one, because that's their opportunity to qualify. So really important for them to perform well. A lovely backhand there from Joe Tyers, and he did well as well, like, not only did he land really nice defensive manoeuvre to slip away after that as well. Looks like he's starting to adjust his feet just enough, Pat, to get that range and distance.
Yeah, Joe takes a while to get into the fight, but when he gets into his groove, he's a very hard opponent to face. And as you can see, he's weaving in and out now with that right hand, and it's showing success.
Just under a minute left of this one. It looks like Joe Tyers has really started to find his range in the last few exchanges. He's having the better of them as a result.
Like to see Joe stab the body
really
a lot more.
Working well now, isn't it?
Yeah, he's really good at stabbing the body and then throwing a right over the top.
It was a good start for the man from the Czech Republic in red, Eric Sui, but Joe Tyers.
Oh, great shot there to end the round by Joe.
That can be the difference. If it was tight for the judges, that could sway it in Tyers' favour. He has talked about the pressures of trying to secure qualification. Talked about how the Olympics can change your life, which indeed it can, and has every intention to turn pro after this Olympic cycle. As I say, his brother's boxer, commentated on his brother Jimmy Tyers' pro debut last year, also a very skillful boxer. He said there was always loads of rivalry between them. They'd be sparring all the time around the house, and he fought out in Hungary at the beginning of last year, lost on a split decision to Ukrainian opponent, has just continued to improve since then, and hopefully the timing's right for him where he can really excel at this tournament and stake his claim for selection.
Definitely, Stacey. Yeah, he's 100% got boxing in his blood, and that competitiveness from his brothers, it follows through in training, because I know he always challenges me, even though I'm a lot heavier than him. He always comes for me. Joe does, whether it's on the track or in the ring.
Round two.
Well, hopefully some of that of Challenging the big lads like yourself, Pat, has paid off from here. There's that stab to the body that you talked about. Nice and sharp. Seems to me he's got the measure of the Czech Republic fighter. He's still shipping a couple of shots because he's handy and capable, isn't he?
He is, yeah.
Eric Sui, but it does seem that towards the back end of the first round, he was beginning to just judge that distance and timing a bit more effectively. Let's see if he can continue that now and build upon it in the second round. Nice sharp jab.
Oh, great shot again by Joe with that right hand.
That was a lovely 1-2 from Tyers. Right down the pipe, landed nice and clean. Just maintaining his composure now. Just needs to stay switched on as well, Pat. Sometimes he's landing nice, but then if he holds his feet, he's just getting caught by SUCHY, isn't he, at the end of the exchange?
As he comes out, yeah, he gets caught.
He's throwing that looping backhand, SUCHY. Just needs to be aware of that. Just needs to be a little bit cute defensively, because his work going forward has been really accurate and well timed. Just doesn't want to take anything in return, which he's managed to evade that in his last couple of exchanges.
Good body shot as his opponent was coming into him there.
On his toes now, Tyers. Nice work. Both of those jabs landing crisp and clean. Minute and a half left to go in this second round. Scheduled for 3 threes, of course. Olympic style boxing. No head guards for the men. Good work from Tyers, just getting tied up.
Like to see Joe use that movement that he's just done there and bait his opponent into him.
Plenty of support here, and makes a big difference, Pat, being able to box at home. It's not something that you get to do very often, is it, as a GB boxer?
Definitely not, no, I don't think. Shot
lovely
there by
backhand
Joe.
again
Wow.
from Joe Tyers, perfectly timed. Caught the Czech fighter as he was coming in. Intelligent boxing from Joe Tyers, this. And this is what you want to see, where they can have an opponent in front of them that brings something different, and having to work out how they can just find those little gaps to penetrate that guard.
Another right hand over the top.
Well-timed backhand from Tyers. And those can make all the difference.
And it always seems to be at the end, Stacey,
Pat,
yeah.
Those big shots can be the difference, can't they?
Definitely. And he's doing it at the right time.
Another well-timed backhand. He's landing those almost every time at will now. This is great work from Joe Tyers. Last few seconds of the second round.
Oh, nearly.
Takes a good shot from the Czech fighter, but replies with one of his own. I feel that was a good round for Joe Tyers. We'll see what the judges made of it.
Yes, I agree, Stacey. That right hand was really good once again in the second round.
What difference does it make then, being able to fight on home turf, where you've not got the travel logistics of it, you've got the home support, it's familiar surroundings? Yeah,
it definitely makes a difference. Obviously, you've got the extra pressure from your family and friends coming to support you, but as you know, and as everyone else knows, pressure creates diamonds. In terms of managing your weight, you're eating your own food, you're in your own comfort, so it does definitely play a part.
We've seen in the replay some of that lovely work from Joe Tyers. He's mixing up his shots really well, Pat, but that backhand is just, when it's landing, it's really eye-catching, isn't it?
It really is, yeah.
And it also, what it does as well as being an eye-catching point for the judges to notice, it also means that the Czech fighter isn't able to set himself. It's putting him out of his momentum, taking him out of his rhythm. Equally important as well.
100%.
Third and last round.
He had back-to-back victories against the same opponent, Vladimir Trakal, in October and December last year, SUCHY. Prior to that, Pat, he fought in May, where he lost to the Austrian fighter Tanko, so not necessarily had the best preparation to go into a tournament like this with only 3 fights months apart, but he's equipped himself really well. Certainly doesn't seem to be struggling in terms of gas, because this is being fought at a frenetic pace, isn't it?
It definitely has, yeah. The pace has been high. Joe's staying in there. He seems very relaxed still, which is good in the last round. Good left hook again by Joe.
If he can find the range and the timing for that backhand again, then that really, no doubt, there it is again.
good jab on the way in as well.
And he's timing it in such a way that he's allowing the Czech fighter just to take that little step in, and he's just catching him as he comes in.
And the good thing is about Joe is he can box, but he also can fight if he ever needs to.
That's why it's so forceful, because that backhand is being met with an incoming fighter sort of stepping in as he catches him at the same time. It's almost double the force.
Oops, and down he goes.
Tangle. The crowd really getting up for this one now. They know that it could, you don't want to leave anything to chance. You want to just make sure you score as many points as possible. Shots landed on those target areas just to make sure there's no doubt in the mind of the judges. The crowd on the feet now, shouting. Lovely backhand again from Joe Tyers. Just over a minute left in this final round.
He's showing higher volume of punches than his opponent this round, Joe, which is good to finish the round. That jab's working wonders.
Just allowed him to set up that backhand. He's able to get his shots off before both boxers became tangled. Got some great support here, Joe Tyers. Really vocal, getting behind him. Exciting fight for the fans to enjoy as well, because it has been competitive, Pat.
Definitely has been competitive, Stacey. Yeah, they're both going back and forth, and
those backhands of Joe Tyers, though, I mean, there's plenty that he's done really well, and plenty that he's done better than the Czech fighter, I would say, but that backhand, really effective. Lovely work to the body as well from Tyers. Eric Sui doing everything he can, throwing everything at him in these closing stages. There goes the clackers. Both men will be seeking to land those final shots, just to leave that impression on the minds of the judges in this final round. Well, we were hoping that we'd have a great evening session of boxing to match the morning, and if that's anything to go by, we're in for a real treat, because that was a cracker, Pat. Yeah, it was a great fight there. I really loved the right hands from Joe, like we were saying, and some of his body shots in that last round were really piercing. All credit to his opponent though. He had an engine on him, and he was always throwing shots, and he was always in the fight and giving Joe trouble here and there as he was coming in. Well, of course, we don't know what the judges will have decided, and as I keep reiterating, it's different when you're watching as a fan, and it's different when you're calling it from ringside, as Pat and I are. When you're a judge, you're looking for something entirely different. So let's see.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, bout number 23, please show your appreciation for both boxers. So, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards. We are officials at ringside. Score a split decision in favour of your winner, and boxing out of the blue corner, it's Joe Tyers.
Well deserved in our opinion, Pat, because we felt he'd done the better work. Particularly, we enjoyed those backhands that when he timed them, they were so accurate, so sharp, and so eye-catching, but superior in every department there, Joe Tyers, and he'll be really pleased to get his campaign at this World Boxing Cup underway with a win, as he strives towards his dream of being selected for the qualification tournament for the Olympics next month in Italy. Plenty on the way though. Really tough category, the men's light welter at GB, 63.5 kilos. We're going to see 2 more England fighters in that category, Patrice and Huey, in a couple of fights time, but we've got Mongolia and Sweden up next as we enjoy some of the replay of that fantastic action from our opening bout, and a great win for the man from Darlington, Joe Tyers.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to bout number 24. So introducing your boxers to the ring. Firstly, your red corner, representing Mongolia, give it up for Tulga OYUNBAATAR.
So, the second bout of this evening's session underway. Making his way to the red corner from Mongolia, Tulga OYUNBAATAR. This, the men's light welterweight, 63.5 kilogram category. Lost in the national final in December. It was the under-22 Asian Championships. He reached the final, where he lost to the Uzbekistani
ladies and
fighter,
gentlemen, introducing
Yunus
your
Aliyev.
blue corner to the ring, representing Sweden. Give it up for Hampus Broman.
Well, now we see the first of the 11-time national champion and Nordic champion Hampus Broman at this World Boxing Cup in Sheffield. He did in fact fight Joe Tyers, who we've just seen, the man from England, in the former bout. He boxed him in the Tama tournament semi-final in November. He lost to Joe Tyers, but he'll be looking to go one better here and overcome his Mongolian opponent, OYUNBAATAR. Tends to like a low lead hand, Broman. Quite relaxed, back foot, fairly typical, you'd say, the Swedish style. Let's see what we have in store.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is bout number 24, which is a light welterweight contest scheduled for 3 rounds of 3 minutes. And introducing your boxers. Firstly, boxing out of the red corner, wearing the all red with white trim, and representing Mongolia, give it up for Tulga, OYUNBAATAR. And across the ring, his opponent, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing all blue with white trim, representing Sweden, give it up for Hampus Broman. Your referee at the bell, representing Czech Republic, Mr. Thomas Schmid.
Here we go then. Men's light welterweight, 63.5 kilogram category. We've just seen Englishman Joe Tyers in action. He won by split decision against a man from the Czech Republic, Eric Sui. And this man fighting out of the blue corner, Swedish fighter Broman, lost to Joe Tyers in the Tama tournament semi-final in November.
Round 1.
He'll be wanting to make sure he doesn't let that happen here against OYUNBAATAR, the Mongolian. He's coming off a loss as well in the national final in December. Made it to the under-22s Asian Championship finals as well, so good backhand there to kick things off from Broman Patton. He's got a high guard. Oh, ships a big lead hook there from the Mongolian fighter. Seen Broman in previous contests, and he's quite often adopted that relaxed sort of low lead hand, but I think you have to feel comfortable and confident before you can do that, so he's started with a bit more caution here, and he ought to as well, because this Mongolian fighter, OYUNBAATAR, we know he's a front foot fighter. He likes to put pressure on, and that's exactly what we're seeing here with these opening moments of this first round.
Yeah, Tulga's looking very sharp at the moment and strong. Broman's still walking forward, though he's not fazed by the punch power, and the big combinations thrown his way, and he's also hitting him with some big shots himself.
And although he's an interesting one, Tulga OYUNBAATAR, because he's not tall and rangy, but he extends his arms when he throws those shots. They're always sort of wide looping shots, so he sort of gets a gain on the range and the distance, doesn't he?
Definitely, yeah. Definitely. Broman's the taller fighter. I'd like to see him throw his jab more and keep him on the end of his rod, but like you said, Tulga, he's throwing long shots as well as weeping hooks to the body, which is...
He has just that little split-second movement where he just dips as well at the knees, Pat, as he then comes over the top with those looping shots, and they can be difficult to judge those because such is the case when a fighter does that. Oh, lovely lead. Oh, two lovely lead hands there. Referee just having a quick word, but yeah, two massive lead hands from the Mongolian there, but he's just out of range, but then just dips and steps at the same time and throws those overhand shots with his lead and backhand, and it is really hard to judge because before you know it, it's caught you.
Yeah, it's overwhelming when they come in with dipping the legs and then firing up with powerful shots, because as you know, a moving target's harder to hit. Broman's got a cut beneath his left eye there. Hopefully that doesn't get worse. Referee
having a little look at that. Just
So
20
starting
seconds
off,
remaining in this
Broman was,
opening round, but does look like he's got possesses a fair bit of power, the Mongolian fighter.
Yeah, he does.
OYUNBAATAR. We've seen that in previous contests as well.
Coming to the end of the round now, the Mongolians holding the centre of the ring, whereas at the start it was the Swedish fighter.
Yeah, like I say, having seen Hampus Broman in previous contests, quite often he will adopt that style of that low lead hand and plenty of movement, skipping around the ring, but it tends to be when a fighter's in their flow, they've got that rhythm, they've got that momentum, and a bit of confidence, but he's not been able to do that here because such is the continuous and somewhat relentless pressure from OYUNBAATAR. As we see in some of the action here, he upstairs, downstairs, mixing the shots up, OYUNBAATAR, and great deal of success with it as well, landing cleanly, Pat.
Yeah, he's constantly in Broman's face and throwing vicious combinations up and down. He's not just headhunting either, which can also throw a fighter off the game plan. Like to see how Broman comes out into the second round now and see if he changes his tactics.
Seconds out. Round 2.
So we're underway in round 2. We don't know how the judges have seen the opening round, but from our feeling is that OYUNBAATAR, Mongolian
like,
fighter in red, has taken that first round.
It's them little triggers that the Mongolian fighter's doing before he throws his combination. He's always ending on a big left hook.
It's always fascinating as well, Pat, isn't it, of how fighters come out for the second round when they've had that first opportunity to see what their opponent's got and try things, and some things have worked, some things haven't, make their way back to the corner, and then they get the instructions from the coach, and it's whether they can make the adaptations and adjustments. And also sometimes, I don't know about you, but I certainly had it when I was fighting, when you think I'm miles behind, everything's going wrong, there's a big gulf in class here, and get back to the corner, and you just sometimes need that person to say, you just need to do these couple of things differently and you're fine, and you kind of go out with that extra spring in your step and confidence.
Yeah, it makes it a lot better for you in the ring when you're coming out with instructions, because sometimes when you go to the corner, your brain's all foggy, and then the coaches definitely clear your mind.
It's difficult to see and diagnose, if you like, coach yourself and see what's not quite working. And sometimes you're aware that something isn't quite working, you just can't put your finger on it, and of course that's where a coach worth the salt will take that time to compose you in between rounds and give you real clarity on what you need to do. And if you can go out and do it, sometimes it's just small adjustments that make the difference. Do you think that there's the Swedish fighter, of course he's fighting out the blue corner, Broman, do you think he's done better in this second round?
I think it's definitely not as physical this round. The Mongolian hasn't got to him as much. I don't know if that's because, saying that, he just caught him a big left hook there. And
we are starting to see now just little glimpses, Pat, as I was saying before, of what I've seen of Broman before, where he drops that lead hand, gets on his bike a bit and gets that fluidity and movement, which seems to be his more natural, preferred style of boxing. Wasn't able to do it in the first round, but he has done it momentarily here in the second, and it's been relatively effective when he has, and he's let those long shots go, but he's always a threat. OYUNBAATAR he's changed somewhat as well, because he was very much on the front foot in the first round, and it's sort of fluctuated in this round, hasn't it, between boxing on the back foot, countering, and then stepping in as well.
It's definitely gone back and forth. Maybe Tulga is having a bit of a rest this round, you never know, and he wants to keep himself fresh for tomorrow if he believes he's winning the fight. But that's the problem with these amateur fights, you can't always...
It's a huge risk, isn't it? It is. Tomorrow doesn't come if you don't get the win today. We've seen it happen many times.
And Broman's been catching him this round.
He has. He's got to keep that work rate up and that pressure that served him so well in the first round.
Definitely.
OYUNBAATAR. What's important to you, Pat, when you're in the corner, and everybody has a different sort of way of doing it, so whether it's with Nigel Travis at Moss side or whether it's with the GB coaches, what is it that's most important and effective for you?
I would say just if I'm being a bit sloppy and stuff, I do like a little clip to wake me up, but then I also like a calm mind as well. If I'm winning the fight and I know I'm in front comfortably, someone to just say, Don't go rushing in trying to stop your opponent, or don't throw silly shots that you don't need to take because you're ahead in the fight. So yeah, a mix of both, to be honest, Stacey.
Well, I remember getting one of those clips, if we can call it that, from Nigel Travis when he did my corner at the Haringey Box Cup, and
seconds
I think
out.
I was concussed for about the first 20 seconds of the round.
I think that's why I've got a pretty good chin,
Third
because he hits me all day.
last round.
Absolutely. He's a belter, though, he really is.
Yeah, he is, definitely.
He's a top man and an excellent coach as well, but a brilliant human being, which helps when you're guiding fighters, whether that's at the professional or elite level, or just getting kids in the gym and making sure they're on the right track. Good start with that jab from OYUNBAATAR, the Mongolian fighter in red.
And a good right hand slipping through the middle as well.
At times as well, Broman in the second and the opening parts of this round is...
Oh, big shot by Broman there. He's hurt the Mongolian.
Lovely backhand. I was just going to say, he started to... In the first round he was trying to box. In the second and third he's more met fire with fire, hasn't he? And that's exactly what we saw there. He's been punching whilst the Mongolian has been punching. Instead of tucking up and absorbing it, he's thrown at the same time, and he's gone toe-to-toe with him, and he's had success. That was a massive backhand. If this is in the balance, then those are the sorts of big shots that can sway it.
And
He's got to up his work rate here on OYUNBAATAR, isn't he? He can't take anything for granted.
Definitely not, no. And I think that shot there from Broman, it's really gained the respect from Tulga, which I think he needed as well. And yeah, I still think he's slightly hurt from that shot.
Well, he did seem to drop the pace and the intensity in the second round, OYUNBAATAR. Pat was maybe thinking if that was deliberate in some sense, but he just doesn't seem to have that same snap as he did in the opening round, although a good little combination from him just then.
Yeah, I think he gets most success when he goes down to the body and works his way up and finishes on that big left hook, but that only comes out once in a blue moon.
Both fighters look like they're gasping to get the air in now. It has been fought with quite a bit of intensity, this one, and sometimes it's tiring because the amount of shots that you're throwing, Pat. Other times when you're loading up, that's tiring in a different way, isn't it?
Definitely, and when you're loading up,
requires a lot of oxygen to the muscles as well.
Especially when you're missing and you're hitting air, you're really gasping for it then, and bad intention shots have been thrown this round.
Last minute of the third and final round.
Oh, good shots there by Broman.
Nice lead up, followed up with the backhand from the Swedish fighter. He's got a bit of a pep in his step now as he steps to the Mongolian again. Yeah,
he's got another bit of energy coming through, it seems. The Swedish fighter is pushing the pace now.
I think OYUNBAATAR hasn't had the kind of preparation and the number of fights you would want coming into this, and perhaps that's telling. Maybe because the intensity does appear to have dropped since the first round, although it's still been a quality display. But Broman, when he's really got stuck into him, has had some great success and shown that he can really scrap when required as well. So that was a really interesting one. Not privy to the judges' scorecards between the first and second round. So who would you go for if it was
That's a tough one, Stacey. I think the first round you've got to give it to the Mongolian, definitely. And then second round, he did slow down, but he also did hit the Swedish fighter with some big shots, but the Swedish fighter also hit him with some big shots. I think...
Amazing how the momentum can shift as well, because as you say, really, what we felt was a clear round in the favour of the Mongolian fighter OYUNBAATAR.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, band 24, please show your appreciation for both boxers. So, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards where your officials and ringside scored a unanimous decision victory. All in favour of your winner. Boxing out of the red corner, it's Tulga OYUNBAATAR. A round of applause, both boxers.
I don't think you could grumble either way with that, Pat, because as you say, some fierce exchanges, big shots landed by both fighters. And he did press forward, Hampus Broman, the Swedish fighter, but a really good display from the Mongolian fighter OYUNBAATAR. And I get the feeling that now he's got that first one underway, he's got his engine going, he'll improve with each fight in this tournament.
Yeah, the ball's definitely rolling for him now going into the second fight, and as you know, the first fight of the tournament's always the hardest, and I just think the better shots come from the Mongolian with the more flurries, even though the Swedish fighter was catching him with some big right hands.
Yeah, you want that first one out of the way to get familiar with the surroundings, get the nerves out of the way. Any rust off if you haven't fought for a while, and OYUNBAATAR has done that. We expect him to see an improved version of him next time out. We've got an all-England clash in the next light welterweight bout. Got Patrice, Mugale and Huey. Malone has seen some of those replays there from the fight we've just been watching between Mongolia and Sweden, and that lovely backhand that Broman managed to land a couple of times.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to bout number 25. Introducing your boxers to the ring, and firstly your red corner, representing England, give it up for Patrice Mugale.
So, Patrice Mugale representing England in the red corner. Bear in mind, both fighters represented England in this contest. Light welterweight men's 63.5 kilogram category. So as you can see, a fiercely competitive category for the men's GB team.
And ladies and gentlemen, introducing your blue corner, representing England, give it up for Huey Malone.
The man from Coventry representing England, Huey Malone, makes his way to the ring. Both national champions, these two. Huey, 4 times national champion, 3 times GB Tri-Nations gold medalist. It's been sparring with European champion Adam Azim, of course a real up-and-coming talent. Been there at Shane McGuigan's gym sparring with him, so top-notch, top-level sparring for him. Fights out of the Christ the King Amateur Boxing Club in Coventry. He's tall, rangy, he's got those long levers. Up against Patrice, national champion, 5 times Haringey Box Cup champion, based in London. He's been doing some pad work with former 2-time world champion James DeGale. He's of course one of the boxers on the wall in the GB changing rooms as an Olympic medalist, so both have had some good experiences here.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is bout number 25, which is a light welterweight contest scheduled for 3 rounds of 3 minutes, and introducing your boxers. Firstly, boxing out of the red corner, wearing all red with white, and representing England, give it up for Patrice Mugale. And across the ring, his opponent, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing all blue with white, representing England, give it up for Huey Malone. Your referee at the bell, representing Germany, Mr. Alexander Dobisch.
Well, this is one that I know you've been looking forward to, Pat. So both national champions.
Yeah, 2 lads in the GB gym.
Coventry. And as I say, Patrice in the red corner, he's been doing some pad work with former 2-time world champion James DeGale. And
round 1
in blue has been sparring with Adam Azim, so both had some good experiences. And this has begun at an incredibly frantic pace.
Huey's come out of the blocks fast like a greyhound. Let's see if this pace can be held.
Great support for both fighters. Of course, the opportunity to fight on home turf is a rare one at international level, so they'll really want to take that into the fight with them all, that home support. Put on a display for everyone who's come here to support them today. Patrice Mugale in the red, boxing out the southpaw stance. Nice work off the back foot there, Pat, from him.
Yeah, Patrice is trying to catch
That's something that Huey's going to have to be aware
in.
of, isn't it? That if you, although he's eager to get up close and get his shots off, he will get caught, as he just did there. Yep. That's something he's got to be aware of. And that can be the case with a fighter that's comfortable on the back foot, Pat. You can't go rushing in because they will catch you.
No, you've got to stalk him slowly, and Patrice is a sharp shooter. As you can see there, another backhand from Patrice down the pipe, and Huey needs to just still put the pressure on, but take his time a little bit, because he's also getting success.
There's a difference between just wading in and intelligent pressure, and it's a very difficult thing to do, Pat, when you've got a fighter who's on the move, difficult to pin down, and you're so eager to get your shots off. Because if you just wait without applying the right kind of pressure, then you're not impressing yourself upon them, but equally,
yeah, it's about
the way that you
right
go about
balance.
applying that pressure is really got to be the right balance, and it's a difficult thing to do.
Patrice is really looking for that backhand as he comes in, as you've just seen there again.
He's got long levers, has Patrice, hasn't he? Mugale's got really long reach. He's utilising every inch of that reach as he just edges back. You can see as Huey Malone comes towards him, Patrice just shifts his feet just slightly, steps back, waits for him to come in, and then bang, lets those hands go. Not quite cleanly on those occasions, but you see him again here, just edging back with his feet, bringing Huey on, and then lets that backhand go, as we just saw there. He changed the angle as he threw that as well, so really difficult for Huey to pin him down. He's
looking more comfortable now, Patrice, as well, with his hands down, but he can't get complacent because Huey's still a dangerous fighter coming forward.
Last 15 seconds in this opening round. Fight to step back. We hear the clackers signalling the last 10. Well, that was a very explosive start to the round, and clearly he had it in mind, Huey, that he needed to put the pressure on, and sometimes you just have to make those adjustments. That when you say pressure, it's got to be in an intelligent, composed, deliberate manner.
Definitely, he's come out the blocks fast there, and Patrice ended up being the more comfortable fighter towards the end of the round.
Just seeing some of the replays of the action there. Yeah, it's lovely how he just adjusts his feet, just those tiny steps back, Patrice. Mugale's eye, and then waits for Huey to come in and then just tags him.
I'd see Huey work from the body up instead of going for the head straight away.
It's more difficult to move the body, isn't it? The head is a much more movable target, so with a fighter that's constantly on the move and on the toes, does tend to be a bit more effective and productive to go to the body, at least to start with the shot to the body and perhaps work from there. But let's see what this round has in store.
Big sharp opening from Patrice there with a big 1-2. Another big lead hook there.
Continuing to try and stalk his man and close down the distance. Huey Malone.
Good little body shot
there. Very difficult task, as Patrice Mugale's eyes just on the move all of the time and ready to pounce with that counter.
Slight success there by Huey as he worked from the body upwards like we talked about.
Point off for holding there for Patrice Mugale's eye. Now that could make a difference, Pat.
Definitely, yeah, and the referee's not messing around there, straight away with a point.
It's going to be on your mind, that as well, isn't it, for both fighters? Huey now might give him a bit of momentum and impetus, not that he needed any, but you know, in the back of Mugale's eye's mind, he's going to be thinking, I've had a point taken there, and it can play into things, can't it?
Yeah, Huey's going to force the pace even more now, knowing that Patrice has had a point took off. Can Patrice hold the pace that Huey's setting? He come out with some sharp shots at the start of the round. Can he keep it up? Big left hand there from Patrice, but then other big shots from Huey.
Yeah, he's landed well on a couple of occasions there, Huey Malone, but just excellent footwork back foot boxing with those sharp counters, and if you're going to box on the back foot, Pat, you have to be sharp and accurate with those counter punches, because otherwise the other fighter just looks so dominant in terms of the front foot pressure. But a beautiful display of counter punching with the uppercut followed up by the backhand from Patrice Mugale. Excellent display of counter punching, and as I say, just as Huey Malone comes forward and stalks him, he adjusts his feet, those tiny movements, draws him on, and then lets the counter go, and he walks right onto it.
Yeah, it's a really good fight, this. Patrice is showing good single shots, on the odd one too as Huey's coming in, but then Huey comes back with combinations. They're both going back and forth.
A bit messy at stages here. Won't serve either boxer particularly well, although you've got to imagine if it gets a little bit scrappy and disjointed, it's going to favour the man in blue, Huey Malone, as Patrice preferring that rhythm and fluidity.
Huey looks the more physical fighter, whereas Patrice is...
if he can stop his rhythm and momentum, it's going to be in Malone's favour. Scrappy as it is, sometimes that's what you have to do. You just have to get the win or the advantage in any way that you can. Mugale back in his back foot preferred style now, though, and goodness me, that was a very frantic second round, Pat.
High-paced round. It's going to be funny to see what's going to happen with the points, with that point took off for Patrice.
Yeah, it certainly will. Both fighters making their way back to the corners, getting their instructions and taking on some water. There'll be sucking the air in now, Pat, because they really did expend a lot of energy in that second round. We've seen some of that frantic and intense action here, so no wonder the mouths are gaping open and they're trying to get as much air in as possible to give the absolute best in this final 3 minutes.
And as you know, as a fighter, Stacey, the last round you give it your all, so I think we're going to see another high-paced round coming our way.
Seconds out.
Well, you may well be able to hear the supporters of Huey Malone
Third and last round
shouting from the stands, "You need to win this round." He'll be aware of that, but so will Patrice Mugale. He won't want to leave anything to chance, and he looks sharp and switched on, and the pair of these, for this to be the opening bout for both men, has been an incredible pace, Pat, because mentally you've got to be ready to go at it like this in the opening bout of the tournament. Sometimes it just does take that first one under your belt, but neither man having the chance to warm to the task, straight at it from the first bell, and they have not stopped. It's been relentless.
Definitely, Stacey, and whoever the winner is, the cobwebs are certainly going to be off for the next opening bout tomorrow.
Cobwebs and all the spiders, I think, have been knocked out of that ring. As Huey Malone applies the pressure again, trying to push Mugale up against the ropes, but he steps to him, smothers him, doesn't allow him to get his shots off as the two are separated by the referee, and the action resumes, and they're straight back at it. Nice
Both
lead hand there.
Are getting success. Patrice has been landing a good few bolos underneath, and Huey's catching him.
Lovely backhand there from him again.
Yeah.
When he times that, he lands it perfectly, and it really is an eye-catching shot as he continues to move. Lovely again, lovely work. Not only landing Patrice Mugale's eye, Pat, but it's the defensive work after, as he just rolls away, and it just looks so impressive, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's like a bar of soap, Patrice, as you can see there. He's sticking and then he's moving.
Just held his feet for just a second there, so Malone able to get a couple of shots off, but it's been limited, his opportunities for success. Such has been just this excellent display of back foot counter punching from Patrice Mugale in this final round. Good shot there with the lead hand from Malone.
This round the pace is still kept high.
Yeah, absolutely. Final minute of the last round. They've given absolutely everything.
Good 1-2 there from Huey, and another
There's so much
shot
on the line.
To the body.
You've got to consider the fact that these two are teammates, both GB representatives. They will want to stake their claim to be selected for the Olympic qualifier next month in Italy. So everything is on the line here for these boxers. So you would expect nothing less than this to be fought with the highest of intensity. So much at stake. 30 seconds remaining.
Oh dear.
Got a little bit messy there as Mugale down to the canvas, but
coming to the last 10 seconds
wipe of the
shortly.
gloves and off we go.
Like to see you.
I think we're going to have an explosive ending to this one.
Definitely.
As we hear the clackers.
Yeah.
Both men eager to try and get those final shots in. Lovely work, nice and composed there from Mugale as he just sees the round out on his toes. Good work from him in those final few seconds. What an engaging bout as well. You couldn't take your eyes off that contest, Pat.
Definitely not. No, it was explosive. There was displays of aggression from Huey and the physical side, but then we're also seeing the sweet side from Patrice, bobbing and weaving, and both fighters seem that they've won the fight, so we'll like to see what the judges think of that right now.
Absolutely. Both fighters breathing heavily, as you'd expect. Expended a lot of energy there. They gave absolutely everything. Really tough contest for both of them. Tough tactically for Huey Malone. Nice show of respect between the two fighters there. Tough tactically for him to, you know, figure out how he could close the distance and get at him, but equally difficult for Mugale in terms it was very physical and he constantly had to be on the move and on his game. Let's see how this one has gone.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, bout number 25, please show your appreciation for both boxers. So, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards where your officials and ringside score a unanimous decision victory in favour of your winner. And boxing out of the red corner, it's Patrice Mugale. A round of applause, both boxers.
Well, in terms of the body language there, Mugale really happy, as you'd expect, because he got the win there. A real disappointment on the face of Huey Malone. I think he thought he might just have, through his work rate and some of the shots he landed, done enough there, but the cleaner blows landed from Patrice Mugale, which is obviously the way that the judges have seen it.
Yeah, Patrice really boxed out of his skin there. Didn't get
Just
caught
an
with.
excellent bout, wasn't it?
100%.
So much to break down there. Really good performance.
Both fighters show
some of
great
those
qualities.
replays there, those backhands that were so perfectly timed and accurately landed. Great performance from Patrice Mugale, but what an effort from Huey Malone. Can hopefully take plenty from that as he continues to build towards his goals, but a really good account of himself. But what a performance from Mugale, as you're seeing here.
And it goes to show, Stacey, as well.
Quality example of back foot counter punching.
The
sharp,
standard,
crisp, really well timed.
Week in, week out at the gym, these two are competing against each other, and the standard's always high.
It can be really difficult when you're that familiar with an opponent. It can be difficult to find those little percentages of advantage over one another when you know each other inside out and you train together and spar together. You're on camp together all of the time. But what a fight that was, that we were able to enjoy there. Top quality Olympic style boxing we've got here from the English Institute of Sport in Sheffield. This is the World Boxing Cup. There'll be 4 events like this throughout the year. Fighters can build up ranking points, and there's an end of year final event. It's one of the 4 different competitions that the World Boxing are putting together. Include the World Boxing Championships every 2 years, the Continental Championships, World Boxing Cup as we have here today, and the World Boxing Challenge events. Plenty of opportunities to fighters to develop.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we move on to bout number 26. Introducing your boxers to the ring, and firstly your red corner, representing the Netherlands. Give it up for Tony Jazz.
Tony Jazz from the Netherlands, the Dutchman in red, making his way to the corner this. As we move into the light middleweight category, 71 kilograms. Goes by the name of the White Diamond. Been doing a bit of training back in November at Salas's gym in Las Vegas. I'm sure he will have picked up plenty there. He's Been on training camp here in Sheffield previously back in 2022. Before the very accomplished Englishman Haris Akbar at the Europeans in 2022. Lost that one by unanimous decision in Yerevan.
And ladies and gentlemen, introducing your blue corner, representing Denmark. Give it up for Nikolai Terteryan.
He's in against the quality operator here though, the Danish fighter, European Games champion last year, the under-22 European champion and Danish champion. He's beaten Haris Akbar, who's just talking about there, who beat Tony Jazz, who's in the opposite corner this evening. But Terteryan beat him in Helsinki last April at the GB tournament, and he went on to lose against Welshman Johan Croft, who was with us yesterday on comms in the GB semi-final. The important thing to note here though is that Nikolai Terteryan, the Dane, has already secured qualification for Paris 2024, so not fighting with the pressure of having to be selected for the qualification tournament.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is bout number 26, which is a light middleweight contest scheduled for 3 rounds of 3 minutes. And introducing your boxers. Firstly, boxing out of the red corner, wearing the all red with a white trim, and representing the Netherlands, give it up for Tony Jazz. And his opponent across the ring, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing all blue with white trim, representing Denmark, give it up for Nikolai Terteryan. Your referee at the bell, representing Norway, Mr. Thomas Nelson.
So an interesting one this, Pat, because we've been talking, you know, we've reiterated it as well throughout yesterday and this morning's sessions, that for lots of these fighters, one of the key elements is that they need to impress at this tournament because they want to be selected for the next opportunity to go to the Olympic qualification tournament in Italy next month. Of course, not the case here for Nikolai Terteryan in blue, the Danish fighter fighting out the southpaw stance, because he's already qualified for Paris. But Tony Jazz from the Netherlands in red, he's got it all to do. So
Nikolai's doing well there with a straight left hand to the body and then right hook over the top. That's working well straight away. He's showing that he's the more physical fighter at the moment.
Nice lead hand to the body there from Nikolai. Nice and controlled. He's taken the dominant position in terms of ringmanship, Pat, from the beginning. First and third there.
And as you know, Stacey, it's always awkward fighting a southpaw, so I bet Tony's... It's always awkward, but he needs to throw that right hand down the middle to catch the southpaw.
And he's just keeping it at close quarters.
Yeah,
just keeps stepping forward, doesn't he?
Good shot there by Nikolai.
Lovely shot again. He does look to possess more power than the Dutchman. Pat, and you can never really know until you're in with someone. You only know when you're in and you feel it, but it looks to me like he is feeling the power of Terteryan.
Yeah, I agree, Stacey. That's why he's still on the outskirts of the ring, and he is trying to look for that right hand down the middle, but Nikolai's seeing it from a long distance away and he's countering.
Just continues to edge his way in, just applying that pressure with his front foot. Switches his stance though and throws a lead right hand, which is a different type of problem for Tony Jazz to deal with. Back into his southpaw stance now, and it's just those tiny movements, that little dip of the shoulder, isn't it, Pat, to try and trigger Tony Jazz, and then to the back of that he explodes.
This fight's different to the last. It's a little bit more, it's inches with distance. They're both only taking a tiny step back and a tiny step forward to be in range, and it's all in the middle of the ring.
Yeah, completely different this one. Amazing how, when we do say, we've heard it a million times, Pat, that styles make fights, but it certainly changes them, doesn't it?
Oh, definitely.
You can see some fighters are able to adapt and box in a completely different manner depending who's in front of them.
Well, that's why boxing's so exciting, because you just never know what a fight can turn out to be. Good opening round there from Nikolai.
Yeah, it was a fairly controlled display for him, wasn't it? He controlled every aspect of that, really. The timing, the pace, the distance, the range. He's featured on Dutch television, has Nikolai Terteryan. He's really popular back in Holland. Says ever since he started boxing, the Olympics has been his main dream. Says boxing's taught him everything that he knows about respect and humility, and he was even mixing with royalty last year. He was invited to Prince Christian's birthday, which is a thing that they invite people to who've presumably who've accomplished things, as Nikolai has. So he got invited to that and was mixing with Dutch royalty, so
that's a privilege in itself.
Certainly is. And that on the back of becoming European Games champion last year and subsequently qualifying for Paris 2024. So he's up against it here, the man.
Second round.
Denmark, Danish royal family, not Dutch. Not that I'm an expert in royal families anyway, but still, best not to mix them up, isn't it? Yeah, Nikolai Terteryan invited to the Danish royal family's Prince Christian's birthday last year, so really popular in Denmark. And good work here again.
Let's see Nikolai throw that single shot to the body, which he was doing really well in the first round. It was controlling the distance and keeping him in control. It looks like Tony's come out with a different sort of style and captured him there as he went in.
What would you be telling Tony Jazz to do in between those rounds? What would you want him to see him do differently in this second round?
I would say go twice and try and hold gum shields out there. Yeah, I would try and say go twice, hit him, like jab him up and down.
Two-phase attacks.
Yeah, and then try and land that right hand. Don't just go for the head, try and whip it underneath as well to his body. So you're at least hitting something, whether it is his arms or his chest.
Well, gum shield back in place now for the Dutchman, so back underway.
It's really effective, that stiff backhand to the body from Nikolai as he rolls out as well.
Certainly is. So a good display this from the Danish boxer. Tony Jazz doing everything that he can to try and find a way through to land those shots, but even when he's throwing, not tending to land cleanly, Pat, as is the case with Nikolai Terteryan. When he lands, they are landing clean.
They are, and you can hear it from here when they land. I think Tony just needs to, like we said, just aim for the chest so you're hitting something, because Nikolai's head movement and his distance, it is really, really good.
It's difficult as well because when the Dutchman, he's wearing red, of course, Tony Jazz, when he throws at the same time as Nikolai Terteryan, the Danishman gets the better of it because he's got faster hands and he can mix his shots up better, he can change the angles more effectively. So he does get the better of it in the exchanges if they both throw at the same time.
He definitely does, yeah, and he's really in control at the moment, Nikolai, like he was in the first round. He's just coming into his own now.
His footwork as well is so superior, isn't it? He's really comfortable moving in and out of range. He's quick on his feet, and Tony Jazz just doesn't have that fleet-footed movement, does he? He's not able to move as nimbly as we've just seen.
He's good at not lunging in as well.
Lovely movement from the Danish fighter there, changing the angles, pivoting, moving his feet. Lovely footwork from him, and it's just
great shot there from Nikolai.
Last 10 seconds of this second round. Well, really tried to impose himself upon him, the Dutchman. Tony Jazz in red, he's got his work cut out with the Danish fighter Terteryan, who's just been exceptional throughout this contest, controlling the pace and the distance. Not going to talk about what TV channels he's been on or what royal families, seeing as I've got Dutch and Danish mixed up, but he's definitely Danish. And he has qualified for Paris 2024. And how important are tournaments like this when you know you've qualified, so you haven't got that type of pressure, but he's obviously going to want to be peaking at the right time and getting as much experience in now before the Olympics.
Yeah, it's definitely important, Stacey, because as we were talking about last fight, you've got to get them cobwebs off and you've got to stay sharp, because even though you've made it to the Olympics, which is a great achievement in itself, you want the medal. So
and there's nothing like fighting to prepare for fighting, is there? If you're going to box, you know, you can do as much S&C as you wish, and all the run, it's all important. Of course it is.
But you always learn
bag
in the
sessions,
ring,
everything, but nothing quite like actually boxing. Being in there with different opponents who pose different problems and you have to work it out. He's trying to stand his ground here, Tony Jazz, Pat.
Yeah, I think Tony knows he's behind now, and I think he knows he has to come up with something to stop him.
That was a good shot from Tony Jazz there with his lead hand.
If I was Nikolai, I would just kind of not take a back step too much where you get complacent, but he's done the work now and he lives to fight another day tomorrow if he gets through this round.
And you're quite right, it's not about being complacent, is it? It's about managing the fight. If you're up on the cards and you don't want to risk a cut for this tournament, you don't want to risk anything that's going to cause you problems in your preparation for the Olympics. So really important just to manage the fight. He's doing that now. He's slowed the pace right down, hasn't he?
Has, yeah.
By just holding his feet, not getting involved, and just catching Tony Jazz as he comes in. Just overextends a little bit with that backhand, but back at range now again, both boxers.
Credit to Tony, he's weathered through the storm in the first round with some big shots, and he's holding the centre of the ring and he's still in the fight, even though Nikolai's very comfortable. You can't write Tony off.
Lovely backhand there from Terteryan. Really good work from him. And he doesn't need to do anything particularly different here, Pat, either, because Tony Jazz is not coming bowling in, flying at him, is he? He's measured, so he's able to just still control the pace and distance and stay out of danger really for the most part, but able to pick him off with those crisp, clean shots which are still eye-catching. Lovely exchange from both boxers there though.
This is what Nikolai doesn't want to get into now, a bit of a slugfest.
A minute remaining in this final round. He's going to want to keep it clean and tidy and just see out the round, because by our reckoning he's well ahead, but who knows how the judges have seen it.
Got to watch that head there as he goes in as well.
Certainly don't want to get a cut in when it's tournament style boxing. Got to box the next day or the day after, and you're going to want to be don't want to be dealing with cuts that sort of cause you any problems and inhibit you, Pat.
Yeah, and it's them cuts as well that can possibly open up in the future, even though they are healed. You really don't want to have them cuts.
20 seconds remaining, and it couldn't be more different, this one, to the fight we saw previously between Patrice Mugale and Huey Malone. It was frantic, it was frenetic, it was just a million miles an hour from the first bell. This one been fought at a very different pace, but
yeah, good
crowd
fight,
showing their appreciation for that, and
Nikolai showing a good supply of boxing.
both fighters just in the corners now, having their gloves removed and making their way to the referee.
I think the good thing is about this tournament as well, Stacey, is that you can have pro wraps, so your hands are fully protected, because when you're fighting over consecutive days, it does take a toll on your knuckles.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, bout number 26, please show your appreciation for both boxers. So, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards, where your officials at ringside score a unanimous decision victory in favour of your winner. Boxing out of the blue corner, it's Nikolai Terteryan. A round of applause, both boxers.
Well, that's exactly what the Danish fighter will have wanted as he continues his preparation towards Paris 2024. He's already secured qualification for the Olympics, so this now is about fine-tuning, making sure he's got that match fitness, making sure that he's ready to peak at the right time for the pinnacle of his career, to fight at the Olympics in a few months' time. He'll be pleased with that and he'll crack on from here now. Disappointment for the Dutchman Tony Jazz, who did everything that he could, the man who goes by the White Diamond, but just wasn't able to close that gap. We've got Germany and Panama coming up now, so we're just looking through, just seeing, sorry, the replay of the action from the previous fight.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is bout number 27, introducing your boxers to the ring. And firstly, your red corner, representing Germany, give it up for Magomed Schachidov.
We've got a quality operator here, the German fighter. Schachidov making his way to the ring. A slow, confident, determined look. About a slow walk and a determined look about him. He fractured his hand, meaning that he couldn't compete at Tokyo 2020, wasn't able to qualify due to the injury, and says that the Olympics is his ultimate dream, so that's what he'll have his eyes on at this
ladies and gentlemen, introducing your blue corner to the ring, representing Panama. Give it up for Eduardo Beckford.
Eduardo Beckford in blue from Panama, making his way to the ring. Pan Am Games semi-finalist. He lost to Mexican Marco Verde unanimously on points in October. He boxed 5 times in 2023. The America's qualification tournament in Chile, Beckford met Jonathan Arboleda, the Colombian. Beckford was ahead in the first round, Arboleda took the second, and Beckford took the final round. So he had a really tough contest there. He did advance to the semi-final, where, as I say, he was then beaten by Mexico's Marco Verde. He had to reach the final in order to secure qualification, so he just missed out.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is bout number 27, a light middleweight contest scheduled for 3 rounds of 3 minutes, and introducing your boxers. Firstly, boxing out of the red corner, or in the all red with white, and representing Germany, give it up for Magomed Schachidov. And ladies and gentlemen, across the ring, his opponent, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing the blue with white, and representing Panama, give it up for Eduardo Beckford. Your referee at the bell, representing Wales, give it up for Gary Meredith.
Here we go then. Men's light middleweight, 71 kilogram weight category. So Schachidov in the red, representing Germany. As I just said, fractured his hand, meaning he wasn't able to qualify for Tokyo 2020. And it's been his lifelong dream to do so, so he'll want to impress here in order to be selected for the next Olympic qualification opportunity, the tournament out in Italy next month. He's in against Eduardo Beckford, the man from Panama in blue. Pan Am Games semi-finalist. One of the interesting things here, Pat, is that Beckford in blue, the man from Panama, boxed 5 times in 2023. Schachidov from Germany in red boxed 16 times.
Big
so
difference,
huge difference, isn't it?
And in the last bout as well, you've got a southpaw versus orthodox, so that should be interesting, this fight.
Yeah, he's long and rangy Panama fighter, not too dissimilar to his teammate Athenia Bailon, the 3-time Olympian from Panama, who's tall and rangy also.
Yeah, they both look physical. I have been told that the German, he has got a bit of a whack behind him.
Yeah, he certainly has. We've seen that in some of his previous bouts, that's for sure. He's beaten the Englishman Haris Akbar and Garen Croft in the semi-finals and finals in international competitions. But having said that, the year before he lost to both, so that shows that he's able to overcome losses, which takes a certain mentality, and it also suggests perhaps that he's improved as well.
It sure does, and it also shows as well at this level of boxing, it really is sometimes a flip of a coin and who's the sharpest man on the night.
Absolutely. Sometimes you're flabbergasted at the result, you expect it to go one way and it doesn't. We've all been there, so that sometimes can happen. So what looks like a win or loss on paper is often or sometimes a different story behind it, but both men have made a good account of themselves in this opening round. With a minute left in this one, Pat, who do you think started better?
So I think the German's obviously controlling the centre of the ring and forcing the pace, but he also likes to get involved physically, and Beckford, he's once again like Patrice, he's being like a bar of soap, being slippery, moving around, and he's causing the German problems.
Both are interchanging between having that high lead hand guard and then dropping it low as well, so trying to keep each other guessing throughout this one.
Defence from both boxers are really doing well this round. It's only maybe the single one that's getting through. Other than that, the head's moving off the centre and they're hard to hit.
Nice backhand a moment ago from Beckford, but Schachidov replied with a stiff jab of his own, so both having success in these exchanges.
Good check left
very
up
much
there.
on the front foot, applying the pressure, but as you rightly said, Pat, Beckford effective off that back foot. So it'll be interesting to see how the judges see this one. He is a long, rangy, awkward southpaw, Beckford. Boxed just German, 5 times last year, but top quality action in the Americas qualification tournament in Chile, where he faced Jonathan Arboleda and then the Mexican Marco Verdi, and of course Schachidov. He's another one who's in the Bundeswehr, so that's they have a military arm and a civilian arm, and they have sports soldiers that once you pass your basic training you can be part of that whilst competing. He's based at the federal base in Heidelberg. He's pursuing a teaching degree, and the Olympics is his ultimate dream. It's his father's main wish, he says. He was voted by Box Sport magazine the AIBA Boxer of the Year in 2018, and as I say, missed out on qualification for Tokyo due to that hand injury. But he did say that he's convinced everything happens for a reason, and he did have great success in 2023, won gold at the Box Cup, the equivalent of this one, Boxing World Cup in Cologne last October. So
yeah, I remember watching him there.
Capable, he's got a good reputation. I think the second round's always a fascinating one as well, because they've had that first round to sort of test each other out, but also the coaches have had a chance to have a look and give those instructions, and 3 rounds is nothing in which to make the changes that you need to make in order to overturn a first round if you're down on the cards or whatever the case might be. Really important that you're able to make those adaptations in Olympic style boxing with just the 3 rounds, Pat.
Especially when you're in with experienced operators like these two, because when they know they're up on a round, they know how to seal it through till the end, but you do also get the exceptions that come through and they ruffle some feathers and turn it the other way. Beckford lunging in there and missing the German. Don't want to do that a lot because he will pay the price.
Well, again, this one not been fought at the frantic pace that we've seen in some of the previous bouts this evening, but really, really controlled, and you can see what both boxers are trying to do, Pat. Schachidov just trying to...
Good shot there by Beckford.
A backhand there, that's where he's got to be careful, hasn't he? He can't hold his feet too long and wait in front of Beckford in range. He is edging in. He is edging in, yeah. But sometimes he's not throwing, Pat.
No, he's not throwing, and that's when Beckford's capitalising on that, and he has got a really awkward style, that Beckford. He reminds me of a Lara who fought Canelo. I know it's different pro to amateur, but he has got that style.
Absolutely. He has indeed. It's just those split-second margins, Pat, as well, between getting the timing perfectly right and just waiting that split second too long. And somebody like Beckford, with those long levers, will catch you.
Definitely.
Got to get that timing right, Schachidov.
And I think this round as well, Beckford is deliberately going on the ropes to maybe bring the German in on some bait, and he has been catching him with some single shots here and there. Like you said, Stacey, the German's holding his feet maybe a bit too long in front of him.
Interesting this, Pat, because certainly in the latter part of this round anyway, neither fighter really utilising the jab too much.
No, they're not. Good right hand there from the German.
They both seem to be looking for that backhand more frequently, don't they, where they're just waiting, and as soon as there's an opening they're trying to get the backhand off, but not utilising the jab too much in either case.
Yeah, I agree, and like us boxers know, the jab, it's a crucial part of the sport and of the game. You definitely need to put it in your arsenal for sure.
Well, who would you have ahead in your mind, Pat, at this stage?
I believe the German won the first round, and then the second round Beckford might have just nicked it with them little shots from when his back was on the ropes and he was catching the German. And also both of them, the defences are really good, that they've not been landing flurries of punches. What about you, Stacey?
Yeah, certainly a difficult one to call, and
Seconds out.
again, it's always different when you're either watching it as a fan or just saying what you see in front of you. Judges have the job
last round
to watch it in far more detail. They're looking for very specific things, and then they must decide, 10-point must-win system, who they're going to give the 10 points to each round, and who's going to get the 9. In some cases, of course, it can be a wider margin, but lovely backhand there from Schachidov, and that's exactly what he needs to do more of.
It certainly is, and he's come out strong and hard in the face of Beckford.
Seeing him using that jab a little bit more though, and neither man really used it too much, or not to any great effect that I noticed in the second round, but Schachidov just used it there, and it just enabled him to put Beckford out of his rhythm a little bit, give him something to think about whilst he set up the backhand, rather than just being in front of him.
Well, that's it, yeah.
Keeping him busy with that backhand, wasn't he? And it's with that jab, sorry, which helped him set up the backhand more
and that's all it
effectively.
needs, just flip the jab out, and it gives the opponent something to think about, and it also gets the opponent's eyes on the jab, and then they don't see the back cross coming.
This is better from Schachidov in this round, I think, Pat. Is
is.
applying that pressure, but whereas in the previous round he was in front of him but not always throwing, now when he's in position he is letting his hands go and mixing his shots up.
Yeah, he's throwing a lot more shots
and he's
now.
looking more dominant as a result, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. Beckford needs to throw more than just the single shots, and he can't just keep waiting around now like he did in the second, where he could just pop the odd 1 or 2.
Not a great deal coming back from Beckford here when it is the falling short. Schachidov stepping in to apply the pressure again. Can he back him up against the ropes and get that backhand off again? Nice work. Not landing cleanly, but more volume, and the heavier punches are coming from the German fighter in red, Schachidov. Pat?
I think the German's starting to realise as well that Beckford, he doesn't like this pace in the last round, because the German really is in his face and he's not giving him time to breathe.
Yeah, in the previous round he was in front of him like this, but sometimes holding his feet a bit too long and waiting too long to throw. In this round he's been busier with the jab in particular, and that's allowed him to set up the follow-up shots, and seeing some nice work from him again there with the lead hand, a looping hook. Beckford not as effective in this round, I feel. What about you, Pat?
Yeah, I agree, Stacey. I think the German's taking this round so far, and I think it's just because of the volume of punches. He's throwing a hell of a lot more, and like you said, he's flicking that jab out. Whether it's landing or not, it's giving the opposition something to think about.
Well, closing stages of this one as we hear the clacker to signal the last 10. Schachidov marauding forward.
I think this has sealed the victory for the German.
Yeah, certainly. He's been much busier in that final round, and I think if the judges were split on this one, then that perhaps will have swayed them. Who knows? We have no way of knowing what they've been, what's impressed them throughout the previous 2 rounds, but I certainly think Schachidov there went through the gears and was much busier in that 3rd round, and certainly won the 3rd round by my reckoning.
Yeah, I agree. 3rd round definitely to the German, but all credit to Beckford. He's a tricky operator, and he's shown some really high quality boxing skills there, especially in the 2nd round.
Well, some cheers from the crowd as we await the final result from our MC.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, round number 27. Please show your appreciation for both boxers. So, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards where your officials at ringside score a unanimous decision victory in favour of your winner. Boxing out of the red corner, it's Magomed Schachidov.
Yeah, good performance there for the German fighter, Magomed Schachidov. Good performance from Eduardo Beckford, though, the man from Panama, but just had too much fighter power at times. Schachidov was really dominant in terms of ring positioning and just had too much for the man from Panama in the end. So a good win for Schachidov.
Yeah, good win for the German, and rightly so.
Yeah, plenty of positive to take for Beckford as he despondently makes his way down the steps out of the ring. We've got an absolute cracker coming up next. English fighter Lewis Richardson in against the Norwegian Martin Skogheim. As we look through the replays of the action, we can see Schachidov there much busier in that round, sticking out that jab, setting up the backhand, much more effective. I felt like the 3rd was his best round. We'll look forward to the introductions now. Lewis Richardson of England and Martin Skogheim of Norway. This one again in the light middleweight men's 71 kilogram category. As you head to IMC, Craig Denholm. Referee just making his way into the ring. There's a good crowd here for this evening's session. You can expect the atmosphere to rise as we await our home fighter.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is bout number 28, introducing your boxers to the ring. Firstly, your red corner representing England, give it up for Lewis Richardson.
Well, if you joined us yesterday, you will have heard the voice of Lewis Richardson as he was alongside me for co-commentary for the morning session yesterday. They went off to get focused, of course, on the task at hand today. European finalist in 2022, Commonwealth Games bronze medalist in 2022, so real good pedigree, the 27-year-old from Colchester. Recipient of the GB Awards Community Award last year for his contribution to the council scheme Box Smart in Colchester, helping young people using the sport of boxing to help them on a positive path. He is a really exceptional ambassador and role model in the sport, Lewis Richardson.
And ladies and gentlemen, introducing your blue corner to the ring, representing Norway, give it up for Martin Skogheim.
Here we go then, Nordic champion, the 23-year-old from Norway, Martin Skogheim in blue, making his way to the ring. Interestingly, his last bout, he fought the man who we've just seen in action, the German fighter who just won by unanimous decision, Magomed Schachidov. That was in the Tama tournament semi-final. He lost that one. He also lost to him in the World Boxing Cup in Cologne, so he's probably pretty pleased that he hasn't drawn him. That was the good news. Whether it's
okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is about number 28.
I doubt it very much because he's in with a top quality operator.
Scheduled for 3 rounds
as we get the official announcements from our MC.
Introducing your boxers. Firstly, Boxing out of the red corner, we're in the all red with white trim. Representing England, give it up for Lewis Richardson. Ladies and gentlemen, across the ring, his opponent boxing out of the blue corner, wearing all blue with white trim. Representing Norway, give it up for Martin Skogheim. Your referee representing Sweden, Mika Moisio.
Here we go then. As I say, Martin Skogheim in the Tama tournament semi-final lost to Schachidov, the German fighter we've just seen win on unanimous decision. Same man he lost to in the World Boxing Cup in Cologne. Now he's up with a totally different type of opponent, but equally as difficult in Lewis Richardson, the southpaw, fighting out of the red corner, of course. 27 years old, European finalist and Commonwealth Games, bronze medalist as well.
Yeah, he's a lot taller,
Lewis. 6 times in
Lewis.
2023, Lewis. Martin Skogheim boxed 15 times, but he won gold at the Algarve Cup in December in Portugal, did Lewis Richardson, and the Boxham International.
Great shot there by Lewis Richardson.
Yeah, it was a good shot. So he comes to this in good form. Richardson had a really good end, despite having less fights than Skogheim last year. He had a really good finish to 2023, Pat.
He really did, yeah, and he's got the height and reach here over his opponent, and the way he's going in and out in his feet so far and catching him when he's coming in, it's really showing. He's controlling the pace and the fight so far.
Top quality fighter, Lewis Richardson. You haven't seen him before. Excellent technical ability. Really good at controlling the distance. Just those tiny movements in and out with his feet, as Pat just alluded to, makes it very difficult for the opponent to set the feet.
Good shot there.
The Norwegian is finding out he real snap and intent in those shots as well, Pat.
Yeah, as they come away from that clinch then, Lewis hit him with a good left hook. And he, like we said, he's really good at holding the distance, and his boxing brain is second to none. Lewis really is a high operator. Yeah.
Highly intelligent in the ring and out of it, as it happens. He's got a master's degree.
Yeah.
So,
he teaches me a few things, Stacey.
I bet he does. He's a brain box all round. He taught me a few things yesterday as well. Lovely double jab from him there, finding its target.
Great shot down the middle there, Lewis.
Boxing as he just walks the Norwegian onto that lovely backhand.
It's like Lewis was boxing yesterday. No cobwebs to come off here. His distance and his timing, they're really showing so far, and once again catching him as he come in.
Yeah, absolutely. Very experienced Richardson.
Yeah, he's boxed some really good fighters like Kuzniak from Ukraine at 75 kilograms. He's a very aggressive opponent, so he really has boxed a lot of styles and he knows what to do.
And those experiences, such as boxing at the Commonwealth Games, particularly at home games when there's that pressure of wanting to sort of put on the best display you can for the home fans, it's really stands you in good stead for when the pressure is on.
It really does, yeah, and like you said there,
like this.
The Commonwealth Games, it's a big platform in the UK.
Certainly is. He took up boxing to get fit for football. He played at county level, Lewis Richardson, and he sustained an injury, a really bad one, stress fracture to his back in 2018 that meant he failed to qualify for Tokyo. So another athlete who suffered a real setback in pursuing those dreams to get to the Olympics. But then he had a stellar year in 2022, as we've mentioned before, silver at the Europeans and bronze at the Commonwealth Games. Says he's been really looking forward to boxing in front of a home crowd, and again, that experience of having done so on a much bigger scale at the Commonwealth Games will have stood him in good stead. And just seen some of the action there in the replay. Really lovely, composed, controlled, measured performance from Lewis Richardson, taking his final instructions from Gary Hale and Dave Alloway in the corner.
Yeah, Lewis just needs to come out here again, off his jab, keep moving his feet in and out like he's doing, and judging the range, and the fight will always go in his way.
Just sticks out that jab pattern. Meanwhile, as the Norwegian comes
Lewis is really good as well.
That step back, Lewis, doesn't he?
Yeah, he makes his opponent feel like they have to come on to him.
He's so neat and tidy, isn't he, Lewis?
He doesn't have the urge to. He never feels like he has to commit. He always catches them when they come in right then.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect.
Oh, another
timing.
1-2 there. Beautiful
well.
by Lewis.
Lovely work from Richardson. The man in red representing England. It's a competitive catery.
Oh, another backhand from Lewis. I bet, and again, I bet he really can taste the leather his opponent here.
He really is, and once a fighter like him judges that distance,
good quick, sharp hook there. Lewis is on fire at the moment.
This is an excellent display. He did say that he was relishing the fact that he would be able to fight in front of a home crowd. He's had a taste of that at the Commonwealth Games in Birmingham on the big stage, on a big scale. And he was looking forward to that here, and he's certainly making the most of it. And the fans are lapping it up. He's putting on a great display. Lovely bit of defensive work there as well. He just slips out of dodge. Lovely work this from Richardson.
And this is all he needs to do, Stacey, is just the 1-2s, the left hand down the middle and his feet in and out, and it's winning him the fight. He doesn't need to get involved, so he can feel fresh for tomorrow's fight.
And again, interestingly with Skogheim, some of the fights that I've seen of his, he adopts that low lead hand position. He's not able to do it here because he's having to bring it to Richardson, but he's getting picked off every time he comes forward.
Lewis is starting to hold his feet more now as he's seen more success with the left hand, but I don't want him to get complacent, which I don't think he will do, but he needs to keep on his toes.
I think he's able to hold his feet because the Norwegian is more and more reluctant, increasingly reluctant to come forward as well, Pat.
Definitely, yeah.
Before he was stepping in frequently, but now he's getting tagged time and time again with that big backhand. I think it's deterring him from coming forward, so Lewis not having to step back as much. Indeed, now he's just gradually stepping forward himself, but as soon as the Norwegian comes forward, adjusts his feet, just walks him onto that backhand. Lovely work from Richardson.
Yeah, the Norwegian, he needs to go at least 2 times to try and get anywhere near Lewis, because once his feet goes back, he knows he's going to be walking onto a big 1-2 or a jab. And this is the art of boxing, hit and not get hit.
Well, another good example for the purists anyway, the sweet science, Lewis Richardson, because he really is an exceptional talent and very highly skilled and really intelligent fighter as well. Interestingly, balanced his master's degree with boxing at the elite level. He of course likes to excel in everything that he does, and says that studying was a good focus outside of boxing for him. He's got a sports business management master's degree from Sheffield University, and interestingly, Pat, his final project for university was research into the feasibility of a GB boxing hosting an international tournament. So perhaps he's probably got some things he can he can pass on that was useful from his research that maybe they've used for this very event, but said it gave him much more of an appreciation for what goes into putting on these events and what's behind it, as is often the case. So really good performance from Lewis Richardson though, and it is a really competitive category at GB, the men's light middleweight 71 kilogram category. Important for Richardson to put on a good display here, because he'll want to be selected for that next Olympic qualifying tournament to pursue his dreams of qualification for Paris 2024. On that back foot again with those lovely counters, that backhand so straight and sharp, Pat. Yeah,
he's using his levers to full advantage here, and I like to see Lewis just remain calm like he is so, and just see through the round, pick his shots, and he's put on a great performance and still doing so.
You can see here the level of experience to operate at this
definitely
high quality that Lewis has, because there's nothing's rushed, nothing's flustered, just in control the whole time.
Yeah, because some fighters, they think 3 threes, it goes within a blink of an eye, and it does, to be fair, but Lewis, he doesn't feel the urge to press the pace as much, and he does take his time and pick his shots correctly, and it's showing here.
Sometimes there's a trap you can fall into, isn't it, as a fighter, feeling that you have to be throwing all the time. You have to be sort of on the attack all the time, but of course that's not the case. And lovely, controlled, composed display this from Richardson.
He's fit as a fiddle as well, Lewis.
On the back foot with those counters, but equally showing that he can step forward as well, as he is doing now, getting behind that jab and doubling up and following up with the backhand, showing that he can come forward as well, which is good to see.
And that's probably just woke Lewis up a little bit now to just keep his head in the game in this last round.
Yeah, just over a minute remaining in this third and final round.
Showing good signs of fitness, Lewis. I know he's a really good runner on the track every morning at 7 o'clock.
Doing everything that he can, Martin Skogheim, the Norwegian fighter in blue.
Yeah,
he really is up against it.
Yeah, another good 1-2 there by Lewis. He's just not got any answers for it.
Every time he comes forward, he just gets caught, Pat. But you've of course got to show some endeavour and try and come forward, haven't you? If you have with any chance of landing a big shot that can change things, or being with a chance of winning, or just to give the best account of himself that you can. But every single time he's coming up short, and Lewis Richardson has an answer to it.
He certainly
has a little
has,
flurry there, but nothing to bother Richardson, and he fires straight back with those lovely sharp jabs.
He's just keeping him on the end of his levers, and the Norwegian fighter is just struggling to get inside, and that is the only hope he's got, is to get inside and try and rough Lewis up, but I don't think that's going to happen now with 10 seconds to go. Lewis now seeing off the round, he knows he's won. Good performance there by Lewis Richardson.
Excellent performance. And not only was it a really good performance, but to do that in your opening bout as well, when, as we've said, you want to get the ring rust off, you're getting back into that sort of flow, straight into it from the opening bell. Excellent performance.
Definitely, yeah. No cobwebs there coming off Lewis. He was coming out, all guns firing.
Yeah, really, really impressive display. And the man from Colchester, as we said before, excellent ambassador and role model for the sport, uses sport to make a difference back home in his community. He's a recipient of the GB Boxing Community Award. Very, very talented operator inside.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, band number 28, please show your appreciation for both boxers. And ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards where your officials and ringside score a unanimous decision victory in favour of your winner. Boxing out of the red corner, it's Lewis Richardson.
Well, I'd like to say that I think sitting with us on commentary yesterday was a good luck omen. So let's hope, Pat, that continues in the same vein, and you can get a win tomorrow as well, having sat with us today to do the co-commentary. That's your reward for having to put up with me. You get a win. It's a good omen for the next day.
It definitely is, Stacey. Yeah, I'm fighting a good operator tomorrow. I've boxed him before. He's qualified for the Olympics. It was actually my last fight before the end of the year, and I got the decision over him in the final, so it'll be good to run him back and get another win over him. Here's Lewis walking over now. He's happy with his performance. He's got a big smile on his face.
Right. That big pat on the mic.
Dave Alloway and Gary Hale, the best looking coaches in the business, making their way past us. All smiles for the GB coaches and for Lewis Richardson, as he just came and gives a quick fist bump as we went past. And he's every right to be all smiles, because that was a superb performance from
really
Lewis
was
Richardson.
spectacular performance.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is bout number 29, the final bout of the afternoon. Introducing your boxers, and firstly, your red corner to the ring. Give it up, representing Sweden, give it up for Kevin Scott.
So this is our final contest of this evening's session, as we welcome in the red corner Swedish fighter Kevin Scott. This another in the light middleweight men's 71 kilogram category. Swedish champion, is strong, is compact. He'll be He will have had the chance to see his opponent yesterday, as he was in action yesterday. Some fighters prefer not to watch the opponent they're going to fight. Maybe
and
he did.
ladies and gentlemen, introducing your blue corner to the ring, representing the Czech Republic. Give it up for Kelvin Sequera.
So this is the man that we saw in action yesterday, the man in blue from the Czech Republic. Whether Kevin Scott took the opportunity to watch that, who knows? Some fighters do, some fighters don't. What about you, Pat? Do you prefer to see who you're going to be fighting, or would you rather not?
Yeah, I do prefer to see who I'm going to be fighting, especially with my coaches, and we come up with a little bit of a game plan. But that's it, I only watch them once, and once I see the style and know how they work, that's enough for me.
I always wanted to see them. It was kind of a better the devil you know. In reality, it probably doesn't make a difference once you get in there, but I think when you think about controlling the controllables, if that's the way you are, you want to see them. Other fighters don't want to see anything at all and just want the coaches to tell them what to do. It's different strokes for different folks, as they say, but we're going to get the official introductions now.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is bout number 29, a light middleweight contest scheduled for 3 rounds of 3 minutes, and introducing your boxers. Firstly, boxing out of the red corner, wearing the all red with white trim, and representing Sweden, give it up for Kevin Scott. And across the ring, his opponent, boxing out of the blue corner, wearing all blue with white trim, representing the Czech Republic, give it up for Kelvin Sequera. Your referee at the bell, representing England, Mr. Paul Rosendale.
Well, our final bout of the evening session about to get underway. Perhaps will be at the advantage of Sequera that he boxed yesterday. You'd always prefer to have got one under your belt, won't you? Whereas Kevin Scott, this is his first one, of course, of this tournament.
Yeah, it's always better when you get one out the way the day before.
Well, they are underway. So Kevin Scott in red, the man from Sweden, Swedish champion. And strong and compact.
Feeling out processor with the jabs.
Absolutely. So if you were watching yesterday, you'll have seen the man from the Czech Republic in blue, Kelvin Sequera. He fought James Delano from the Netherlands, won on a split decision. He's 4 times national champion, a man who goes by Golden Boy. Technically sound and tidy fighter.
It's getting caught with them backhands.
Different type of opponent here with the Swedish fighter, though.
Yeah, the Swedish fighter is doing some good 1-2s as his opponent's coming in, but he's also getting hit himself.
Pretty difficult to call some of these exchanges, Pat, because both men having success, aren't they, when they get within range?
Yeah, they both are, and it's all happening relatively in the centre of the ring.
Yeah, neither man giving too much ground. We've not got too much of a... We've tended to have in the previous bouts an obvious back foot fighter, haven't we? And
yeah, we have, yeah.
Not so much getting that here.
Lunging in there a little bit, the Swedish fighter, as he's getting caught coming in.
Minute and a half remaining in this one. That one, that little exchange there, he got a lot of encouragement from the corner of Sequera. Coach is happy with what they saw there. So he doubles up on the jab.
Good shot there by the
Swede. Nobody giving too much ground. It's being fought at pretty close quarters, this one. There's not like we've seen in some of the previous bouts, Pat, with every inch of the canvas being covered. They're pretty happy
it's all happening in the middle. Both fighters are getting success from the jab, and then when they both throw flurries, they're both getting caught. Oh, big shots there.
2 nice big backhands.
Yeah, it's going
landed there.
Tough for the judges here, because both exchanges, like you said, Stacey, they're a bit 50-50 at the moment.
Yeah. Absolutely. Difficult one to call.
I'd say a few more body shots up close and personal. They're just looking for the hooks at the moment.
Good opening round from both boxers though. Quite difficult to separate the two of them. I mean, you might think completely differently watching at home and say what you want about it. It's obvious. What did you think, Pat?
Yeah, I agree, Stacey. Yeah, I think both fighters, the output of punches was similar in the same amount of contact as well. It's going to be a tough one for the judges to score there. If I had to choose one, maybe the Swedish fighter.
Always interesting as well, Pat, how differently coaches go about giving and delivering their instructions in the corner. Some of them demonstrate every single punch they want thrown, others a little bit more calm. Is Sequera's coach slapping his legs there just to keep the blood flow going, make sure he's ready to be on his toes as he ref just checks they've both got their mouth guards in place. They have indeed, so we're underway for the second round. Really open this one, Pat, for someone to really stamp their authority on it, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's
it
up
really
for grabs,
is.
this,
Yeah,
you feel.
the Czech fighter trying to get on the front foot here. See if he gets caught as he's coming in.
Really, in a sense, they're pretty evenly matched.
They really are, yeah.
Neither fighter is exceptionally better at something than the other. Like, sometimes they might be better on the back foot, or they might be better at landing that backhand, or they've got more power, but these two, almost like mirror image of each other.
They really are, yeah. They're holding the feet and they're throwing similar shots. Does look like the Czech fighter's coming forward a lot more, but then the Swedish, he's in the middle now, so it is mirror imaging. Good shot there.
Sequera's corner really vocal in praising every shot he lands. Nice little jab that he slipped out there, and nifty footwork to get out of the way as the Swede Kevin Scott came firing back at him.
Good left up there by the Swedish boxer. Another good left hand by the Swedish boxer. He's getting slightly more success this round than the Czech fighter, in my opinion, but it is still very close.
Ref just having a quick word as we approach the final minute of this second round. It's caught fire a little bit there, Pat.
Yeah, it really has.
They're both really controlled, aren't they? I mean, they're aggressive when they get a chance to let the hands go, but neither of them really pushing the other man back. No,
they'll throw one flurry and then they'll wait for another exchange where they both throw again at the similar times. They're not so much doing two phases.
.30 seconds remaining in this one. Still time for somebody to really stamp their authority on this one. And
yeah, I think the Swedish boxer, I think he's just nicked this round, especially with the shots near the end.
Took a big shot there though, that rocked his head back, so real eye-catching one there. There's been some good work from Sequera in this round as well. Really difficult to separate the two of them.
Yeah, another tight round there. And they're both going to have to give it their all now, coming into the last.
Not a great deal, you wouldn't think, to separate the two. Neither boxers landed particularly big eye-catching shots. Both had success with combinations and flurries up close. Seen some of their work here in the replays. on your screen. We can see both boxers have had the fair share of success. I suppose it's just a matter of which work you prefer, who's landed the more volume of punches on the target areas. That's certainly not something that we're counting down to the judges. They're just calling what we see, so I'm sure
third and last
they've
round.
been doing so, and we'll judge it from that accordingly. So into the final round here, and you just feel like someone can really grab this by the old
yeah
and go for it. Nice work there from Sequera as he just waited for Scott to come in and then tagged him.
Good exchanges there once again from both fighters.
From the corner of Sequera, they're cheering every shot, and they do encourage you to do that at these international tournaments. It tends to be quiet. You don't, unless you're at a major tournament, you don't get the huge noise, and people do believe, whether it's true or not, that it can influence the judges if you have a really big cheer. I know we did that as teammates. Pat, I'm sure you do the same.
Yeah,
where
we
you're encouraged
do.
to shout for every bit of success for your teammate when they land on their opponent, just to see if it can sway things in their favour, get in the mind of the judges.
Really is a close contest, this one.
You feel like this one, Pat, could go on exactly like this for 40 rounds.
You really could, yeah.
And nothing would change.
No. Both fighters aren't slowing down, they're not showing no
They're just
weaknesses.
so similar.
Yeah.
Really intriguing bout. Both fighters, you know, real high quality and enjoyable to watch. It's certainly not a negative statement or putting them down in any way whatsoever. It's just fact, in my opinion, that this could just go on and on exactly like this with nothing to separate them in particular.
I think the only way you're going to see a difference is if one fighter starts slacking in a department, and as of now it's not really showing. They're both still keeping the pace up and doing
it's
what
a
they did from the
mindset
off.
sometimes, Pat, isn't it, to do, as we say, go through the gears. What we mean by that is stepping up the intensity, whether that's the volume of punches, the power, the pace of the fight, the intensity, whatever that may be. Going through the gears is something that you consciously have to decide to do in your mind. Of course you've got to have the physical attributes and conditioning to do it, but you have to make that decision to step it up, and
yeah, you certainly do.
Perhaps just not in some fighters' nature, because
no,
still a quality contest this. I mean, some real quality stuff from both fighters, but just don't feel that either has really taken it to their opponent and really pushed and sort of driven forward to try and impose themselves on them as we reach coming up to the final 20 seconds.
Sometimes going through the gears, fighters fear of maybe releasing the tank too much and having no energy near the end, but now they're up in it.
Both really sound, skilled, talented, technical boxers, but sometimes you just need to perhaps just really push forward and really impose yourself on someone and take the fight to them. And you just felt like if one of them did that, even in sections of that fight at times, it could have swayed it in their favour. Well,
that's how close it was, yeah. All they needed was a tiny little bit of a change. It'd be nice to see what way the judges have gone now.
Well, we're in agreement here that that was a difficult one to call. You may have a totally different view of it at home, but ultimately our opinions do not matter one iota, because it is down to the 5 judges at ringside and how they have seen it. We haven't been privy to their scorecards in between rounds, so let's see which way it's gone with our MC.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, bout number 29, please show your appreciation for both boxers. Well, ladies and gentlemen, after 3 rounds of boxing, we go to the scorecards where your officials at ringside score a split decision in favour of your winner. And boxing out of the blue corner, it's Kelvin Sequera.
So back-to-back wins on day 1 and day 2 for the man from the Czech Republic, Kelvin Sequera. A win yesterday by split decision against Delano of the Netherlands, and a split decision win today against Kevin Scott from Sweden. Such a tough one to call. No surprise it was a split decision, but he won't be too bothered about that. Pat. He'll just want to progress, as all boxers do, and it's been such a pleasure to have your fellow Mancunian alongside me for co-coms tomorrow. But just let everybody know what time they can watch you in your fight tomorrow.
So I'm in the morning session tomorrow, so boxing starts at 11 AM and I believe I should be on around 12:45, 1 PM.
And you're very familiar with your opponent.
Yeah, we've recently just boxed back end of the year, so yeah, it's going to be good to start things off in the new year like we did at the end of the year.
And do you prefer that when you know what you're dealing with and you're familiar with that opponent, or would you prefer to have someone you've never fought before?
It doesn't really bother me, to be honest, Stacey. I just get in there and I just perform to the best of my ability. And that's it, yeah. Get in there with anyone. That's it, yeah.
Absolutely. Anytime, anywhere. Well, make sure that you are in the right place at the right time tomorrow to follow all the action from 11 o'clock, and especially to watch Pat, who've we've had the pleasure of his company on co-commentary this evening. So 11 o'clock tomorrow, we'll be back with you for more action from the World Boxing Cup here at the English Institute of Sport in Sheffield. From Pat Brown and Stacey Copeland, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you for more excellent action tomorrow from 11.